You're not overthinking, you're overscanning. You tell yourself you're overthinking again. It was just a pause, just a shorter reply, just a slightly different tone, but your body didn't treat it as small. Your chest tightened, your thoughts accelerated, and suddenly your mind was replaying the moment like security footage. You start analyzing. Why did they say it like that? Why did they look away? Why did the energy shift? And even when the conversation ends, it doesn't end inside you. It continues, quietly, constantly. You call it overthinking. But what if that's not what it is? What if your brain isn't thinking too much? What if it's scanning too much? You notice subtle shifts most people ignore, the micro-expression, the half-second hesitation, the message that feels slightly colder than usual. Your mind zooms in automatically. You don't decide to analyze, it just happens. And the strange part is this: you're not dramatic, you're not loud about it. On the outside, you seem calm. On the inside, there's a silent radar always sweeping the room. In conversations, part of you listens and part of you monitors. Are they still engaged? Did I say something wrong? Did their mood change? You adjust accordingly. You soften your tone. You add emojis to avoid sounding harsh. You rehearse texts before sending them. You reread replies looking for hidden meaning. It's exhausting. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is running background surveillance all the time. And this doesn't just affect conversations, it affects identity. You become someone who anticipates reactions before they happen, someone who edits themselves before anyone else can, someone who feels slightly tense, even in safe spaces. You don't relax fully, you stay prepared. Prepared for what? That's the part most people never question. Here's the deeper truth: you are not broken, you are adapted. At some point in your life, noticing subtle emotional shifts mattered. Maybe moods in your environment were unpredictable, maybe affection was inconsistent, maybe silence meant something, maybe approval could disappear without warning. Your brain learned a rule: catch the shift early, stay safe. And it got good at it. Very good. Your nervous system became highly attuned to emotional weather. Like someone who grew up around storms, you learned to read the clouds. Even when the sky looks clear, you still check. Because once upon a time, missing the signs had consequences. This isn't weakness, it's pattern recognition. But here's the problem: your brain doesn't automatically update its safety settings. If hyper-awareness once protected you, it keeps running that program, even when you don't need it anymore. Let's slow this down. Your brain has a threat detection system called the amygdala. Its job is simple: detect danger quickly. It doesn't only respond to physical threats, it also reacts to social threats: rejection, exclusion, disapproval. From an evolutionary perspective, being rejected from the group once meant reduced survival. So your nervous system takes social signals seriously, very seriously. Now add another layer. Your brain is constantly predicting what will happen next. It builds internal models based on past experiences. If you've experienced sudden emotional shifts before, your brain learns to anticipate them. It starts scanning for early signs, not because you want to, but because prediction equals control, and control feels like safety. Imagine your brain like a radar system. For some people, the radar scans occasionally. For you, it scans continuously. Small tone changes feel like blips on the screen. Longer response times look like incoming storms. And once the radar detects something, your thinking brain tries to interpret it. Maybe they're upset. Maybe they're pulling away. Maybe I crossed a line. Your prefrontal cortex starts building explanations. This is where people say you're overthinking. But the thinking is secondary. The scanning came first, and the scanning came from learning. Your nervous system doesn't want drama, it wants safety. But here's what happens over time. When you scan constantly, your brain becomes biased toward threat detection. Neutral signals feel charged, ambiguity feels dangerous, and your body reacts before logic can catch up. You feel tension, restlessness, a subtle anxiety that's hard to explain. You're not scared, you're alert, all the time. So how do you shift something that runs automatically? You don't silence the radar, you retrain it. And retraining doesn't mean forcing positive thoughts. It means changing how your brain interprets data. First, separate signal from story. When something triggers you, pause. Ask, what is the observable fact? The reply was shorter. That's the signal. The reply was shorter because they're upset with me. That's the story. Your brain collapses the two into one, but they are not the same. When you label facts separately from interpretations, you activate the rational part of your brain in a grounding way. You create distance between perception and meaning. That distance reduces the urgency response. Second, introduce time. Your brain makes fast predictions, but reality unfolds slowly. If you delay emotional conclusions, you give new data a chance to arrive. Many times, what felt like rejection turns out to be distraction, or fatigue, or nothing at all. Every time a feared outcome doesn't happen, your brain updates slightly. This is how threat systems recalibrate through prediction errors. Third, widen interpretations. The scanning brain collapses ambiguity into danger. To retrain it, you must consciously generate alternatives. If there are 5 possible explanations and only one is negative, your brain learns that uncertainty doesn't equal threat. Cognitive flexibility reduces anxiety because it weakens rigid threat pathways. Fourth, reduce self-monitoring gradually. Pick one low-stakes interaction per day. Don't over-edit. Don't rehearse excessively. Just respond naturally. This is exposure. In behavioral psychology, exposure teaches the nervous system that feared consequences don't always occur. When nothing catastrophic happens, your brain updates, not instantly, but slowly. Fifth, regulate your body before your thoughts. When scanning intensifies, your body is already activated. Shoulders tight, breathing shallow, heart slightly faster. If you try to reason while your nervous system is activated, it won't stick. Slow your breathing, long exhale, relax your jaw, signal safety to your body first. The vagus nerve connects breath to emotional regulation. When your body calms, your thoughts follow more easily. You can't think your way out of a nervous system alarm, you must calm it. Over time, these small adjustments send your brain a new message. Not every shift is danger. Your radar becomes less sensitive, not numb, just balanced. You'll still notice things. You're perceptive. That's part of you. But you won't feel compelled to decode every micro signal. You won't feel responsible for managing every emotional current in the room. Because here's another truth. Connection does not require constant monitoring. It requires presence. And presence cannot coexist with surveillance. When you're always scanning, you're never fully there. You're analyzing instead of experiencing. You're preparing instead of participating. And slowly, that distance creates the very disconnection you're trying to avoid. Ironically, the strategy meant to protect connection constrain it. But this is not a flaw in you. It's a nervous system doing its best with outdated instructions. You learn to scan because once it mattered. But growth isn't about judging old adaptations. It's about updating them. You don't need to catch every shift anymore. You don't need to preempt every possible rejection. You don't need to decode silence as threat. Sometimes silence is just silence. Sometimes a short reply is just a short reply. Sometimes the sky is clear, even if your radar says, check again. So, next time your mind starts zooming in, pause gently. Ask yourself, is this overthinking or is this old scanning? That small question creates space, and in that space your brain learns something new. Safety doesn't require constant watching. Sometimes it's already here.